The sun had not yet risen over the land of Kiana when the two sisters, Nia and Sefu, left the village behind them. Their father's betrayal still burned in their hearts like a hidden fire, a wound too deep for words. Once they had been the pride of their people, daughters of Chief Makono, a man respected for his wisdom and courage. But greed had changed him. When the strangers from the mountains came offering gold and power, he traded his daughters for promises he did not understand. He had told them it was for the good of the tribe, but when Naya and Sefu were led away in chains, they realized their father's heart had turned to stone. By some miracle, they had escaped that night, helped by an old herder who risked his life to free them. Now, as they walked barefoot through the wilderness, the sisters swore they would never return until they had found a place where their spirits could heal. The world before them was vast and cruel. Days turned into weeks, the sun blistered their skin, and the nights froze their bones. But together they endured, because their bond was stronger than hunger, fear, or betrayal. Naya the elder carried wisdom like the moon carries light, calm and quiet. Sefu the younger was fierce as fire, quick to anger but full of heart. They balanced each other as night balances day. One evening, as they rested beside a dried riverbed, Nia said softly, "Sefu, do you think he ever loved us?" Sefu stared into the empty sky and whispered, "I think love dies when greed takes its place." The wind howled through the trees as if agreeing with her. Suddenly, a shadow moved near the rocks. An old woman dressed in rags appeared, leaning on a staff carved with symbols. Her eyes glowed faintly under the fading sun. "You walk with pain in your hearts," she said in a voice that sounded like rustling leaves. "But pain, if not healed, becomes the chain that binds you to the past." The sisters bowed respectfully, sensing she was more than she appeared. "We seek peace," Naya said, "but we do not know where to find it." The old woman smiled sadly. "Then you must walk the path of silence. Only there will your truth be heard." She pointed toward the horizon, where mountains glowed red in the distance. "Beyond those peaks lies the Lake of Echoes. What you seek waits there, but beware, for the lake reveals not what you wish to see, but what your soul hides." And with that, she vanished like smoke in the wind. The sisters looked at each other, uncertain but determined. "Then to the mountains we go," said Sefu. They gathered their things and continued walking through the darkness, guided by stars that shimmered like ancestors watching from afar. The path of silence had begun. After leaving the Lake of Echoes, Naya and Sefu entered the Whispering Woods, a forest so dense and alive that it seemed to breathe around them. Every leaf shimmered faintly in the dappled sunlight, and the branches overhead moved as if whispering secrets too old for human ears. The air was thick with the scent of moss and wet earth, and each step on the soft forest floor echoed with the murmurs of unseen creatures. The sisters held hands tightly, their bond, their only certainty in a world that had already betrayed them once. "Do you hear that?" Sefu whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Nia nodded. The forest was alive with voices, not cruel, not mocking, but soft and ancient, as though the trees themselves were speaking. "We have entered the place of truth," Nia said softly, remembering the old woman's words. They walked deeper and soon came upon a clearing where sunlight fell in golden streams, illuminating a small stone altar covered in carved symbols. On it lay a bundle of dried leaves and a small, cracked clay bowl. The sisters approached cautiously. As they stepped closer, the wind shifted, carrying with it the faint scent of jasmine and fire. The voices of the forest grew clearer, forming words they could almost understand. "Here lies the path of your hearts," the wind whispered. "Face the pain that binds you, and only then will you see." Nia closed her eyes, feeling memories rush back, their father's betrayal, the loneliness of being cast aside, the nights they had cried themselves to sleep. She felt anger and sorrow mingle in a bitter tide. Sefu, too, knelt and felt her heart twist with rage and fear, remembering how she had vowed never to trust anyone again. And yet the forest did not judge them. It held them, lifted them, made room for their pain. With trembling hands, Naya placed a leaf from the altar into the clay bowl, symbolizing her sorrow, and Sefu did the same. As they did, the leaves ignited softly, releasing a warm golden light that wrapped around them, filling every corner of the clearing. The forest seemed to exhale, and the whispers grew into a chorus of encouragement, echoing their own names with warmth and power. "You are not broken," the voices said. "You are rising." Tears streamed down their faces, but for the first time, they felt a lightness in their hearts, the crushing weight of betrayal lifting. They embraced, holding on to the newfound strength and courage that had been waiting for them all along. The forest shimmered around them, revealing a narrow path leading deeper into its heart, where the final truth of their journey awaited. Nia and Sefu stood, taking a deep breath. They knew that beyond this path they would confront the echoes of their father's actions, the choices that had shattered their childhood, and the wisdom that would allow them to finally reclaim their lives. With hearts unburdened and hands still entwined, they stepped forward together, the whispers of the woods guiding them onward, as the forest itself seemed to bend in blessing over the two sisters, who had survived betrayal and were now walking the path toward their destiny. After leaving the whispering woods, Nia and Sefu emerged into the Valley of Shadows, a place where sunlight struggled to reach the ground and mist hung thick like a heavy veil. The valley stretched endlessly, dotted with jagged rocks and twisted trees that seemed to watch them with silent eyes. The air was cold and damp, carrying the echoes of footsteps long past, whispers of sorrow, and the faint stench of fear. Every step felt heavy, as if the valley itself weighed down on their hearts, forcing them to face the pain they had carried for so long. Memories of their father's betrayal surged the moment he had handed them over to strangers, his cold, unfeeling gaze, and the way he had justified his actions to the village as though they were nothing more than tools. Sefu's fists clenched, nails digging into her palms, and she almost shouted in anger, but Naya held her gently, reminding her that the valley was not their enemy. It was a mirror, reflecting what they had not dared to confront. As they walked deeper, the shadows seemed to move, forming figures that resembled their father, each one whispering lies and insults, replaying the names and words that had haunted them. "You are nothing," one shadow hissed. "You are weak," another cried. The sisters froze, hearts pounding, but they remembered the lessons of the Lake of Echoes and the whispering woods. Nia closed her eyes, breathed deeply, and said aloud, "We are more than your betrayal. We are love, we are courage, we are truth." Sefu followed, shouting, "We forgive you, not for you, but for ourselves. At that moment, the shadows began to waver, their forms twisting and shrinking until they disappeared into the mist. The valley, once oppressive, started to glow faintly with silver light, revealing hidden paths and blooming wildflowers where before there had only been death and fear. The sisters walked hand in hand, feeling the weight lift from their hearts, realizing that the valley had tested not their strength against the world, but their ability to forgive, to reclaim power over their own lives. At the heart of the valley, they discovered a great stone circle, engraved with the symbols of ancestors and the spirits of justice and wisdom. A soft wind carried the whispers of past generations, acknowledging their bravery, their resilience, and their love for each other. Nia and Sefu knelt in the circle, placing their hands on the stone and swearing to never let betrayal define them again. The valley seemed to exhale, and the mist lifted, revealing a path that led upward toward the sunlit hills beyond. As they climbed, they felt lighter, stronger, as if each step purified the pain of the past. From the peaks above, they could see the village far below, now a symbol not of shame or loss, but of the power to rise above adversity. The sisters walked forward together, hearts united, knowing that their father's betrayal could never steal the bond, the courage, or the light that lived within them. The valley of shadows had tried to consume them, but they had emerged whole, carrying with them the wisdom that true strength comes not from revenge, but from forgiveness and self-love. After surviving the valley of shadows, Nia and Sefu began their climb toward the mountain of truth, a towering peak that pierced the clouds and was said to hold the wisdom of their ancestors. The path was steep and treacherous, carved into the side of sheer cliffs and lined with sharp stones that cut their bare feet. The wind howled like spirits in mourning, and the sky above swirled with shades of crimson and violet, warning travelers of the challenges ahead. Despite the pain and exhaustion, the sisters pressed on, each step a testament to their resilience and unbroken spirit. Nia led with a calm determination, mapping each step, while Sefu followed with fiery resolve, her eyes scanning for danger and her heart holding on to the hope that the summit would bring answers. Along the trail, they encountered remnants of the past, a broken staff, tattered cloth, and scattered bones, symbols of others who had attempted the climb and failed, succumbing to fear, anger, or despair. The sisters shivered but did not turn back. They remembered the lessons of the lake and the valley. Fear could be faced, pain could be transformed, and betrayal could be forgiven without losing oneself. As the wind rose into a fierce gale, a voice called from above, deep, resonant, and ancient. It was their father, or perhaps the echo of his choices, speaking from the mountain itself. "Why do you come here?" the voice demanded. Nia's voice rang clear, steady. "We come to find the truth that was hidden from us, the courage to reclaim our lives, and the wisdom to forgive." Sefu shouted, "We are no longer children of your fear. We are daughters of our own strength." The mountain trembled, stones falling and dust swirling around them. But a narrow path opened, leading to a plateau bathed in golden light. There, carved into the rock, were symbols older than memory, their ancestors' teachings on courage, love, and justice. The sisters traced their fingers along the carvings, feeling a warmth spread from their hands through their hearts. In that moment, they realized the mountain was not a place of punishment, but of revelation. It mirrored the truth within them, that betrayal could not define them, that forgiveness was a shield more powerful than vengeance, and that their bond as sisters was unbreakable. Tears mingled with laughter as they embraced, the wind carrying their voices to the skies. At the peak, they saw the world spread beneath them, forests, rivers, villages, and distant mountains, a tapestry of life that reminded them how small yet powerful they were. The mountain of truth had shown them what the lake and valley had hinted. The path to freedom lay not in changing the past, but in claiming their own hearts. As they descended toward home, the air felt lighter, the sun warmer, and their spirits stronger. They knew the final challenge awaited, but for the first time, fear did not accompany them. Only courage, only love, and the unshakable bond of two sisters who had been betrayed but refused to remain broken.